that gives them a second to prepare personally.
Got it. All right, this meeting is being recorded, so just remember.
I forgot to take my
Hello,
shirt off.
Jennifer. Hi, Tracy. Hi, whoever Alex is. Chris, good to see you.
Love the green screen, Michael.
Yeah, thanks.
You missed
How
the
you
last
doing?
week's. It was green screen madness.
Yeah, we had fun. This is going to be a little more organized this week.
Yeah, hello, everybody.
Hey, Alex.
How
Hi,
you guys
friends.
doing?
That's Alex Pommier, I believe, Michael.
Yes, let me put the last name in there. Hold on.
Yeah, it helps if we can see your face. Thank you, Mimi, for jamming that big bun in my face.
I figured since it's Thursday, I would do brick and mortar. So it's a brick and mortar burger.
That is a good looking burger.
So how's everybody doing?
Pretty good.
Good. How are you?
I'm used to working from home alone, so life is good. Aside from the fact that I do anti-social distancing for a living. My job is to remove social distancing, and I get paid for it. So right now I'm not getting paid too well.
Yeah.
But we'll talk more in depth.
I mean, it's interesting to me, and that's something we can certainly talk about tonight. I mean, there's visible business impact, like businesses like yours. Then there's invisible business impact, businesses like mine, right? Our services are all operating as usual. My team's all working remotely, etc. But I'm watching AR slow down. And so now I'm trying to do calculations on, at what point does my AR become critical and I can no longer meet payroll, and then also the difference between week-to-week businesses and month-to-month businesses and quarter-to-quarter businesses, because we're all impacted in different ways. A lot of the restaurants and bars are week-to-week businesses. Companies like mine are sort of somewhere in between month-to-month to quarter-to-quarter, depending on how aggressive the financial impact is. And all of us, no matter where you fall on that spectrum, there's different sort of responses and reactions and strategies that you have to take to deal with it.
Yeah, that's true. And we should talk about when we actually get rolling is, oh, that's not good. 1 second.
You letting the beard grow, Chris? I've been locked in here for about a month now. I'm just letting it grow out.
I tightened my lines up a little bit because the mustache was down over my mouth. It was a little too much. But aside from that, yeah.
How many people did you guys have last week on here? I completely missed it.
I'm not sure what our total count was. Maybe somewhere around, 15 or so.
Okay.
Should hopefully be a little stronger this time. What's up, Delaney? Nice.
How's it going, Chris?
I was saying, sorry, I had to plug in let me use my second laptop. It's easier to type that way. Take some notes. How easily businesses can expand and contract. How flexible is the business size, I guess?
I have a hole in my lip, really.
That drinking problem, Chris.
Man.
I think it's a little more than that. Is that Michael behind you?
Yeah.
That was not his drinking problem didn't start with COVID. Just
No, it started with ESC actually last year.
Right. Blame it on SARS. Right. So right now, what we're going to do for the first 15 or so is just, general blah, blah, let people roll in, and then we'll do our pitches and get into the stuff. We haven't seen you, Alex, in a while. Jennifer,
Yes.
you're all over social media with your motorbike. How you been, Alex?
I've been doing okay. Been super busy. The business with everything has to do web. Everybody wants to go and work from home now, so I've just been kind of keeping up with the tide. So far, no complaints. We've, as a family, made rations, taking it seriously, making sure, you prepare as much as you can and try to keep at home and then not go out and make the problem worse. So right now I have a client who has a school in New York, and obviously he's majorly affected. They had to shut down. So trying to convert all their things to online classes and stuff like that. So it's been keeping me busy.
And so your business, like, we'll talk about that too. So your business is up.
Yeah, so everybody's working. I have my 3 guys in Miami at my knock on site working. I mean, they usually work there regardless, so they're pretty separated from everybody else with the exception of their family. But everybody else in the team is working remotely, just like Chris. So
Do you have an office?
Yes, I have an office in Miami.
And would you keep the office? I mean, why, just since we're talking about it, why have an office?
Well, because it's a spot, for everybody to convey it. I feel like it gets a lot of the things done, especially when the team, you can talk to someone right next door. It advances the projects pretty quickly. Even though today with web and video conferencing, you can communicate pretty easily, but it's just been there for so long, it's kind of hard to let it go. Looking at the forecast of what's going to happen with the coronavirus, I think we're in it at least till August, if not longer. So we'll see what happens. I mean, in terms of rent, there's a lot of things that can be put on hold for now with the government. I've been calling some government agencies trying to see if you can put a freeze on mortgages and things like that. And they advertise all over the place that you can, but when you actually get to finally speak with someone, they said that Congress hasn't really approved anything yet. So we're kind of on hold to see what's going to happen.
Okay. Jennifer, how have you been?
I've been good. My core client is PricewaterhouseCoopers out of New York, and they shut their 42nd and Madison office down until at least the end of April. I think they've shut a bunch of other locations down across the country. I'm not sure if all of them are. I'm not involved with all the rest of them. I'm just primarily with the New York office. Clients are making a shift. I will tell you that I've been through something similar before. Now, I wasn't working with PwC at this volume before. When the market crashed in 2008. They were a client of mine, but they were only like a $30,000 a year client. And they pulled all their contracts in 2008. And it crushed me. Like, I was a small business out of Denver, and crushed my now ex-husband's business as well. And so when I started building back from that point, and I went back to them in 2013. I went and got a job working for my best friend in his law firm, poked my eyeballs out, didn't want to, but there it was, thankfully, and started putting my life back together again. I went back to my core contact at PwC in 2013 and said, hey, I'm divorced, and if you've got some more work, I'll move to New York City. And that's why I ended up going out to the city. It was great timing. They had a great retainer for me, but a couple of things. We've never had a formal contract for very specific reasons. We've had a gentleman's handshake now for almost 6 years, which is a beautiful thing. And I'm very clear, and have been from the day that we started, that it could go away at any time for any reason. And I'm not putting that out into the universe like negative vibe shit, but that's the reality of a business that's even like many $billion strong. They can make they can pivot on decisions for whatever reason they want. Now, so far, they're keeping me around. The good news is that after 2008, I decided I would just hunker down and save what I could as I could. When I got out to New York, I busted ass to put all kinds of money back in the market and in savings. And so, knock on wood, like I said, it continues with them. But if it does not, I'm set for a while, not forever, but I'm set for a while. And in the meantime, I'm just creating content like a crazy girl with my online audiences, and I have everything I need. All is well.
Good. Well, and maybe we'll take a some sort of an up, down, or even. What's up, Talisano? Tracy David, I don't know if you're here, but you're muted.
Yeah.
Okay. We see a little picture in the bottom, so.
Oh, yeah, I just got back from pickleball, so I jumped in the shower real quick, and you guys will be happy with my picture.
This is a grown-up meeting, so, clothing is optional.
Yeah, exactly.
We watched Jenkins shower a couple weeks ago, so. Oh, wait, that was another hangout.
That's in my premium service.
Well, Pornhub is free premium right now. Is your premium service free also right now?
Check me out on OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
The paid Snapchat though.
Speaking of paid Snapchat, somebody was talking, Twitch. I was watching DJ Chris Craze spinning, and I guess he got too big for Facebook, so he went over to Twitch. Anybody else on Twitch? That's a gamer platform.
Yeah, I've got a Twitch account.
Is there another way to watch him without joining Twitch? I mean, it's like, oh my God, one more platform.
I think you'll watch, just not. Well, maybe I'm wrong with that. I have one, but I never use it.
I'm pretty sure that you can just connect via the link without having to join. It just means that you can't interact or comment or any of the rest of those things. The accounts are primarily for audience engagement.
Okay.
Yeah, you could watch, you just can't interact, like Chris said.
Okay. So, is there any other?
Twitch is, it's certainly a major platform. One of the things that I saw this week, we got a notification. I think everyone actually who has a G Suite account probably got the same notification that Google Meet had expanded out to, I think, 250 simultaneous audience members. So if you're doing like video chats for much, much larger groups, the corporate version of Google Hangouts, which is Google Meet, is providing a way to do that.
Yeah, and I think it said it was free up until July or something. So,
Yeah, that's correct.
Something like that. Yeah. Welcome, Kathleen. How you doing? Welcome, Mango.
Mango.
Is that your flavor of the day?
Oh shit! It's Julia.
Remember, everybody, we are recording this, so we had some funny moments. It's me trying to take a photo during the regular meetings. I can use the pure force of will to get you guys all to stare at the camera and say cheese, but trying to get a second where everybody's faces aren't all over the place to do one snapshot. Yeah. Julia was in her car. There was a moment where you're drinking out of a full bottle. It was funny. But anyway, so I'll put these back up online so you can watch them again if you all are insomniacs. Who else haven't we said? Let's see. Mimi, you guys, are you having do any normal policies cover pandemics?
No.
That's probably normally excluded, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, unless you have kind of actually a hospital income, but that's only if you're hospitalized.
Okay.
Then will it cover
some of your, well, it will pay you on a daily basis a certain amount.
What about like catastrophic coverage?
What, for a business or for personal?
For business.
Now, there are usually certain companies that will offer those type of insurances, but in a normal insurance policy, sickness or act of war is not covered, amongst other things, but those are two that are pretty specific that's not covered. Like like an interruption fee, sickness is not counted for an interruption, as an interruption for a
Alien
business.
invasion.
Neither is an invasion.
Yeah, right. Everybody has a profile, I think, that's on the screen for ESC. I just was gonna make sure that everybody has their profile. So I think everybody I see has a profile already. Has everybody left a nice review of Nova 535? That's helpful. So if you haven't, I'll ask you all again.
On Google?
Yeah, Google Maps is probably the best. Facebook, of course, also helps. Also, a review of the Entrepreneur Social Club on Facebook is nice. We have a couple people on there that have left bad reviews because we've had to throw them out. Most recently, what's his name? Mr. Angry. What's
Wait,
that?
how did I miss that drama?
Which one? Who?
Angry pilot guy.
Oh,
Somebody got kicked
I had
out? You
I had a
guys-
meeting. I had a meeting with him to discuss some development, and my Facebook. I had got coerced finally to reopen Facebook, and so I linked with him, and we were talking. And that same night, because I just opened my account, they shut me down Facebook for suspicious activity because I guess I was adding too many people. And he basically he freaked out because I didn't show up on his Facebook page anymore. He called me like at 10 o'clock at night. Is the meeting still on? Is the meeting still on? I'm like, I think it's better we just keep it off for now. I mean,
Luis Santiago. That's who we're talking
there
about.
we go. Yeah.
Yeah, he had an incident with one of our female members that can or cannot,
More than one, actually, at this point.
Yeah. But he was saying some shit to me, or I read a couple more. I just went to his Facebook. We're all adults. Shit happens when you're dating. Things don't always go the way. But at the end of the day, you got to be nice, or just keep your mouth shut. The kindergarten rules. I went on and looked at his Facebook page, and there was a whole rant about all this stuff. And I'm like, whoa, man, this guy's got some anger issues. So I unfriended him, and he DM'd me saying, oh, you don't think I monitor who the assholes that unfriend me, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever.
Oh, that's a good reminder for me to go do that right now.
Yeah. So it's just there's some angry people out there, and
that's my favorite part of social media is I manage my own feeds. I got my own little bubble.
Right.
So if you just are just harshing my norm, I'm just going to just remove you surgically from every interaction that I have, so you never remind me again of that. This is part of curating your own planet, if you will.
Sadly, if somebody really wants to get you, they can create different profiles. And
Michael would unfortunately know.
Yeah.
They'll even email people that you know.
I've been about 4 months deep into that. All right, so we are. We've got a roll call. People are still rolling in. Kim, how you doing?
Hanging in there, man. How you guys doing?
Yeah, your memes have been very, very funny. I don't know where you're digging them up, but
the lady in the cheetah outfit.
I got a big ass shovel. I've been finding them everywhere.
There have
Oh
been
my
very,
gosh.
if
How do
you
you
all
do
haven't seen Kim's Facebook memes the last week, I mean, she's digging up some real gold. So
I'm just trying to keep myself and everybody else laughing a little bit.
yeah, I'm hoping that Billy jumps in. You know, there's no excuse. If you live an hour away, I get why you don't come to the meeting. I mean, yeah, that's a valid excuse. But if you can pop on with a button. So we're gonna do our pitches at around 6:30, maybe a few minutes earlier. Just waiting to see who else is gonna pop up. There's a whole bunch.
Hey, how about this? This is probably the first time I've ever been on time for the meeting. Actually, I was early.
That's why I mentioned it as soon as you popped in.
Who?
You know,
Me?
it is. Yeah.
No,
you know
I popped
He's
in
been here the whole time.
It was before 6 o'clock when I logged in. Thank
exactly,
you very
and
much.
that's why I mentioned that you were on time because there was no brick and mortar afterwards. We have. So you know, I was going to say it's Jason's birthday today, Chef Jason.
It is.
Jason.
So if you all want to, should we call him like a group call, or what are we doing to support? I have a $75 gift card. The last 3 times I've been there, I've forgotten to use. It's right in my.
They have takeout. I heard they're open for takeout.
Yes, it's right here. You see, Kathleen? There you go. Look, oh, just in case you missed that part. I showed everybody.
So it's his birthday today. Should we do, what can we do to, wish him happy birthday?
Pause recording and then start a recording, and we all sing happy birthday at the same time, then pause the recording and send him that.
You're too good with this. Look at you.
Wow.
Yeah, Talisana coming out.
I guess you do more than float.
He's always got hours of a time thinking of stuff to do. Michelle and Jason, how we doing, Jason? You guys are muted. And you can put your last name in and your business in. If you hit the 3 little buttons, you can rename yourself, because for me it helps if you put your last names in first. People don't. Michelle, what is your last name again? I have to look it up. I'm sorry.
Tolan.
T-O-L-A-N.
T-O-L-A-N.
Yeah, got it.
That means you too, Mango.
What's Mango's last name? Is it Buttercup? Mango Buttercup. I like that. Come on, do it. Do it.
There you go. Jason went somewhere. There's Mandy. How you doing, Mandy? Hi, Mandy.
Hi.
How we doing?
Hanging in there.
Yeah.
How are you?
We're doing good. We're doing good. We're just kind of letting people pop in. Is there a point in doing our pitches if we're all here before? What do you think?
No, I don't think so.
Unless we have new pitches.
We're just going to be social with my fellow entrepreneurs. No pitches needed.
All right. All right. Well, then let's get started. Where did Jason? Jason disappeared. Okay. Okay. So we'll just skip the pitches then, since we all know each other. Let's talk about the flexibility of the business. So right now we're under one of those stress tests where certain businesses can expand and contract. You have fixed costs. Like I was asking Alex why a digital company has an office, because everybody's always done it that way. But at this point now, does it make sense to have an office if you're selling 100% digital product? So let's talk about that for a second. And get people's point of view on that. So,
well, if you have a lease for 10 years.
Yeah, aside from a lease, aside from a lease, and lease can be sublease and all, but I mean, just, if you were starting that business again today, would you have an office?
Nope.
Well, I'll talk about this a little bit. So what was it, 11 years ago, we opened our office in Gainesville, and we got a little space, and we, you know, built it out, made it all cute, and did the thing. And after operating paperless basically for about 4 years, we were really questioning whether we needed that space. And we spent a year operating, pretending like we didn't have it, right? So we literally went through a year of customer meetings and just full business for a year. And after a year, nobody gave a crap. Like, not a single customer cared. It was perfectly fine with everybody, the way that we were interacting with them. So we canceled our lease, you know, or not canceled it, but, you know, we let it lapse. So I guess it was, must have been 5 years in, because it was a 5-year lease. So 4 years in, we did that. And at year 5, we dropped it, and we went completely, you know, virtual. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was not what I thought you were going to say as somebody who sells real estate.
I know, it's kind of right?
I was expecting you to have this very eloquent reason why you need real estate and you have an office. So thank you for surprising me. Okay, so you're virtual. Alex, again, back to you. If you're going to start your company today, or are you planning to keep an office? I mean, you know,
probably not. Probably not. Although I find for morale and, you know, just creativity in developing things, having people around you, you can feed off their energy. So there's some advantage in that. Also, I don't know how other businesses portray if you do have a physical establishment or not. I guess today, you know, that's more and more less important in the equation. Everything's been working smoothly remotely. In fact, some of my, you know, programmers and developers, even though they came to the office, sometimes they don't come in, they just do their jobs from home. So it's not a big transition for us. For other businesses, I imagine it's different, but you got, you know, it's difficult to say. We'll see how it goes. So far, the communication is fairly simple. Or you given the task and it gets done. You can save on the expenses, definitely. If I'd have to do it over again, probably not. Although I have my little office, my my hosting facility, and everything that I have there, I manage myself. So, you know, that team you can't replace that. You need to have. I know that Chris has outsourced his all his technical things, but I still like to be in control of actual servers and machines and things like that.
I haven't outsourced all of my technical things at all. I just rely on infrastructure experts for my infrastructure.
Okay.
Okay. So Kathleen went officeless. I don't have an office other than my home office. I mean, does a home office count? I guess not really, because you're not working out of it with other people.
Well, you have to have a place to put your stuff. I mean, it can only be so virtual.
Yeah. Well, I am leaving my house by the end of May, so I will be going somewhere virtual. I don't know where, so it'll be interesting.
Well, I've worked with some businesses I know, bringing Little Light of Mine out of a studio situation into a virtual situation. I think the advent of the office shared space has really kind of changed that landscape a little bit. That even those who just need an occasional meeting spot can find that at Station House or some of the other places around town. And that started emerging quite a bit of while ago. I'm going to look back and say about 15 years or so.
So the use of co-working as a when needed, like with Uber, I don't have a car, but when I need a ride, I hit the button.
And it's good for their business model because you end up leasing access to the space, and because you can have multiple lessees with lower lease rates, they end up actually with a higher revenue than it would be for dedicated rentals.
Okay.
So it's kind of a win-win, and where people only need the space, get the space whenever they need it. But that becomes almost entirely a customer service play.
Okay. What about you,
But,
Mimi? You're in the kind of in a, like, Michelle, would you, now that I'm thinking about it, because I was going to think you're definitely retail, but do you need to be? Mimi's traditionally always been retail with insurance, but I buy a lot of insurance. I love seeing people in a social environment. Obviously, that's what I chose to do for a business, but I don't want to go to an insurance office. I want to do it online, pay it online, and go back to work. So,
And you're my favorite kind of person.
right.
But
so why have
in my business? So in my business, so my company requires me to have a physical location, or I would consider ways to be more remote. Right now, we are considered an essential business, so my office is technically still open for my team, but not for customers, because everything that we need to do, for the most part, we can do online, over the phone. So right now, I have one that's working from home and two that are actually working in office. And I work in office most days. Today I didn't. I decided to stay by the pool, but that's okay. But
Mimi, do you think that landscape's going to change?
So actually, no, not because our entire business model is based off of having actual insurance agents whose office you can actually walk into, just being out in the community. So it's a little different. If you look at a Geico model, it's their job to sell auto policies as cheaply as possible. Our model is a little different. Our model is to take care of the customer, not just their auto, but their home, their life insurance, their everything that we can. I mean, financial services are huge for us. And it's while you can easily sell financial services, over the phone, having that one-on-one, that face-to-face, that's what people like. And that's kind of our entire business model. Also, for compliance reasons, it's really difficult for us to train someone new. If from a virtual environment, there's a lot of information. So while we do have the ability to work remotely, it's just not the business model. Not to mention, people that I hire, they want to talk to people, they want to see people, they like that interaction. So I think the energy level, they're while they will be productive, maybe not long-term productivity.
Won't though you be at a big competitive disadvantage, because at the end of the day, apples to apples, you buy things based on a brand name. And so if I'm shopping for insurance for whatever, and I'm looking at State Farm has got a big brand, Geico's got a big brand, but Geico's $200 less every whenever because they don't have physical locations. Why do I, as a customer, care? Because now we're really looking at this. People are so price sensitive in the United States. Drew always says people are drunk on low cost, which is a great way to put it.
Yeah, people are price sensitive, and people, because it's a learned behavior. The number one question is, would you sacrifice the best product for a price? In some cases, yeah, but in some, when you're looking at, okay, right now things are tough. Do I buy the name brand paper towels or the cheap brand? It's completely different than, hey, in the event that something happens, do I want this covered? Are they trying to just sell me a policy, or are they selling me a policy that's going to actually cover me, that's going to, rebuild my home, as opposed to pay off my lien holder, which doesn't buy me a new home.
But wouldn't they even have more money without having to pay? And my point is that without having with the State Farm, the costs have to go down without having real estate.
So here's the thing. It's not necessarily, because as independent contractors, I pay for my rent. So it's not a cost to State Farm for us to have actual physical locations. It's a cost to me as a business owner, but it's not a cost to State Farm at all, number one. Number two, you're not really comparing apples to apples. It's more so apples to oranges. And most people don't understand that. And that's the difference, because at Geico, they're going to ask you 5 times, how you want to pay? Do you want to buy this policy? But me, I want.
Whoa.
Sorry, the phone call.
You okay, Mimi?
Yeah, sorry.
Like, whoa.
Not sure. Look, I have no idea who's calling my iPad because this isn't even my cell phone.
Robocalls.
That's State Farm calling.
You know what? It might be. Look.
You may want to throw that on Do Not Disturb on these.
Oh, can we do that?
If it's an Android.
All right,
no,
so
it's an iPad.
Amy, thank you. I'm gonna, because I want to keep it moving. Thank you. I'm gonna ask Michelle now what she thinks.
So my business, I don't know if you guys have been into my space.
My CBD?
Yeah, your CBD store. It's an experience, not a transaction. The space itself is what people come back for, and the one-on-one consultation, the education they get. They don't just come to buy a CBD and leave. So my whole business model is wrapped around a customer experience. So for this business, I definitely would like to be creative. I'm doing deliveries and curbside service and phone, Skype, any kind of, way to consult. But this is temporary. I don't know what the scope of things is going to be, but this is what I've built. I've built a place that I want you to come inside and spend time. So
how long would this have to last, this, let's call it the COVID shutdown, for things to change? Because behavior starts to, you start getting like, I don't want to go into work now. I can work from home. I mean, a week, 2 weeks, a month. I mean, where's that point to where I would just be like, I've been to your store. I'm going to buy your product. Just deliver it to me. I mean, I've gotten lazy using Uber.
I mean, it depends on what's going on. I mean, I've been in business 15 months and people do like to come in because they have new questions. They want to try, they want to see what's new. Now they want to get a massage and they want to talk about what's going on in our studio. So we're expanding into having more there for people. So, I mean, I really have to put on a different thinking cap. They can just buy CBD online if they want to, but that's not really what my business is about. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how long I'll sustain. I had a really great Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, like decent. Today I had 2 customers, and I'll last until June 1st this way. So if it doesn't, I can't close. So who knows? I might be online.
Is there a day when you think that CBD and THC product can be sold at the same store?
I think that's a great
cigars
idea.
and alcohol, huh?
I think it's a great idea. For now, I love my dispensary referrals, so I hope that day isn't anytime soon. I work with a lot of dispensaries, and they send them right over. And when people want THC, and I say, well, try CBD. If it doesn't work, I'm going to send you on over. And I've built these relationships. And I always wonder, why don't they have CBD there? But for now, I do get customers that way. However, not the majority of customers. They prefer my environment. Spa-like. It's not dispensary-like. It's much different. It's geared toward an older person who may be turned off by that environment. Not that there's anything wrong by the environment, but the glass case kind of smoke shop kind of feel is not really what my customers are looking for.
It was very frustrating in I think I want to say Toronto, maybe somewhere in Canada. I have to think back now. Because the stores that are CBD only would advertise that they were dispensary, and so you'd walk across town, you show up, you're looking for your bud, and then all of a sudden like, oh no, you got to go over to, whatever.
A CBD dispensary or a marijuana dispensary. You can even have a candy dispensary. It's just another word for a place that dispenses something. So they might be trickery, trying to tomfoolery you into going. That is annoying. That's why I am very clear on my name of my store. Right. You know what you're going to get.
Thank you for your clarity. Let's say hi to Tony down there at the bottom. Mr. Ceiling Fan, how you doing? You gotta unmute yourself. You gotta unmute yourself. I'll unmute you. You're unmuted.
I am.
Hi, welcome to the 21st century.
No, it's got to be ceiling fan. Sorry.
Okay. How we doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good. We skipped the pitches since everybody here is returning champions. But we were just asking about whether companies should have a physical office, or digital companies should have a physical office. You don't have an office, do you, Tony? You're all digital.
I have an office at home, but not an office out of home.
Tracy, do you have an office? No. Where are you making your razors?
So we are in the process of changing manufacturers right now. It's really an awesome situation where China, my current manufacturer in China, is not communicating with us. They have not had any workers come back after the new year. So we are in the process of finding a stateside manufacturer at this point. And that's been really fun too, because none of the workers are coming in to actually do their work right now. They've also been sent home. So we are a startup company that has been put on hold.
Are you able to print? I mean, what about what's the creative ways? Because you have a physical product.
Yes. So we do have, we've been through 41 iterations of our prototypes, and we've done 3D printing to the point that we can do it. Now we need to be able to build out the injection mold tool to find the material that's going to work for the right flexibility for us, and the durometer. So we've taken 3D printing as far as we can take it at this point. We really do need to go into a tooling of some sort.
Who has that here locally? Are you going to try to do it locally? I mean, is this?
Yep. So I was connected with some people with the Bama Manufacturing Association here locally, and there's 2 or 3 of them here in the Clearwater Largo area that I've sent my CAD files over to, my step files, and they're taking a look at them now.
I guess you hope to sell this. I mean, does it make sense to start thinking about global, local, where you could have this created at a local level globally, one in Clearwater, one in Miami, one in, where you have a local manufacturer or printer? I mean, I guess 3D printing is really going to continue to improve.
Yeah, as they work with the materials, I think that will be a very viable option for us right now. With the flexibility that I need in my material, the 3D printing dries out too much. But as they continue to move forward with their versatility in those materials, I'd love to have a connection if one of you guys know a person who is experimenting with their 3D printing with different materials, because I need somebody that's willing to press the envelope.
Talk to 3D makers, Mo Eppley, her and her husband Lance. Do you know them?
No.
They're members, but they never come to the meetings anymore. But they're
what's the name again?
She has a company called Nerd. One of them is Nerd Tech. I think it's 3D Makers. Her name is Mo, Moeppely. Let's see. I think it's called 3D Makers. Let's see. Yeah, there's a group. Hold on. Let me find her name. Hold on here real quick. Mo Epplee. Excuse me. Mo and then Epppley. I have not had one drink yet.
That's the problem.
That's probably the problem, Mike.
Tangible Labs is the name of her company. Tangible Labs. I'm pulling this off of Facebook.
Thank you.
She's really cool. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of pickleball.
Yeah, you look like you are fried. Who else?
There's not a lot of work to do around here.
Yeah, you look like your hat is the least red thing on your body.
It's pink, yes.
Right.
And I'm about to take that in a little bit.
Jake, it's funny, people keep bouncing around. Who just joined? Jenkins, we got to say we love your background there. Is that Mordor?
It seemed fitting.
Yeah. So Tony, I'm sorry, you were saying, like we asked you about your office. Mandy, you have to have an office because you're selling food, I guess, right? Unless you were is there an all delivery food company? It's only delivery?
I mean, it's not that much different if it's a delivery driver versus the customer that shows up to our counter. It's not really.
No, I mean, let me rephrase it. I want to eat, and I can hit Uber Eats or whatever Eats to deliver. So I got my phone and I'm hungry. I can hit a button, credit card's paid, I have the menu on the line, and it comes right to me wherever I am.
Still need a kitchen though, right?
Talisano. Yeah, but shared kitchens, or I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. Like,
I mean, I basically am in a shared kitchen right now. I'm in the church, so.
Will that change? Do you think?
I don't know what's going to happen now. I mean, we're still going to keep looking for a permanent spot, but it's crazy right now, so not anytime soon.
Right. But I'm just saying, as consumer behavior changes, I'm hungry, I want to eat something, Justin Petro is kind of perfect for this type of conversation. People who just want to order something and have it delivered. So not going in, either you go for my thinking is if you go to a restaurant experience, you sit down, you have a dining experience, but a lot of people now just want to get fed. Will there be restaurants that don't open where it just would be a kitchen, a shared kitchen where you don't need that extra space? Because that's, a lot of the cost.
For us, we wouldn't want to do that since a bunch of our mission is having, live music, local art, all kinds of community, board games, blah, 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 all that stuff. So
you're a social experience, but I guess my question then is, do you see, or does the group see that happening where it's delivery only, as kind of that next step? Because we're talking about, do you really need an office? Right. So that's a group question.
I believe the grilled cheese place already did that last year. The place on Central at like 700 block.
Okay.
Central Melt.
Yeah, so they started like a concept kitchen inside the grilled cheese place that was not available for eat-in, that was only available for delivery. I can't remember anything else about it though.
Well, you know what the first one was Checkers. Checkers did that, was drive-through only, and that was before Uber. And Checkers was killing it until they pissed off Burger King and McDonald's, because they competed. One of the things we learned in business school, never compete on price alone. And they said, 99-cent burgers, we got 99-cent burgers. And McDonald's and Burger King goes, great, we got 49 cents. We'll go out of business in 6 months and you're gone. And so Checkers was way ahead of the curve, and it was really popular and busy at the time. And that was it was drive-through only. So
just a quick reminder to everyone as moderator, please make sure you're muting your microphone when you're not talking.
Thank you. That's the voice of the narrator.
Who's that sexy guy with the cowboy hat?
Yeah, look at Talisano. You're a fucking funny dude, man. I appreciate you talking about.
Where is Talisano? That guy pissed me off. He owes me money.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call Captain America to help find that guy.
By the way, check out Best Day Fitness and Floats. Captain America stopped by today for a group workout for kids. Check it out. Check it out. Share it. Post it. Captain America versus coronavirus. Do your part.
Yeah, I saw that. That was what's his name? Daniel. Daniel and his wife had a funny meme. So let's since it's been a really kind of a beat up last month, anybody have any funny stories to share? Quick funny stories.
I think they should call this Project Honeydew. I haven't gotten anything done work-wise because my wife's been home the entire time.
Yeah, that's.
I am caught up on a hell of a lot of chores, though.
Yeah, I've been actually really, because I'm used to working from home and working remote, so, and I have no honey here. I mean, I do. It's organic from bees, but that's about it. Greg's, why don't you say, everybody knows you, but say, hey, what's up? What's going on? Your beard, we got the angle of your beard. You might want to pull your camera back just a bit. And hold on, let me unmute you.
Okay.
There you go. There you go. There's the mug. So we're talking about, does your business need to have a physical office? You manufacture and sell online, right? Do you have an office?
Hold on, I'm trying to. I can't hear a word really. I'm trying to adjust my volume. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. So I'm sorry. What was the question?
We were talking about does your business need a physical office? So
yeah, absolutely. We're a factory, and I'm the primary office person. So I have 12 employees who have to be in and work with their hands and in close proximity to each other. So we are. Yep.
That's a physical, that's a manufacturing place, but I mean an actual office where you meet customers. I guess we'll define it down as to.
Oh no, I do not need an office, but all my stuff is in my office, so I mean I need to be there.
Got it. Well, couldn't you do like a co-packer? I don't know what the word is, but do you have to manufacture you're not the only one doing what you do, so couldn't you just give the formulas to somebody and let them do it?
Well, yeah, you used the right word, co-packing, and that's what we are. We are a co-packer. So I mean, I can't, as a co-packer, I can't co-pack. I can't outsource that to someone else. So probably 75% of my business is co-packing for other companies.
Okay, so you couldn't be like a virtual inside of a virtual co-packing inside of a co-packing. I don't know. I had a joke there somewhere. Delaney, what do you? That's good, man. I guess everybody needs a costume. Yeah, hold on. I got mine. There we go.
Now that he's gone.
I thought there was no more FOMO during this because there's nothing to do, but now I have FOMO of all these like people's cool costumes and backgrounds.
There we go.
Quarantine's been really good for my hair. So,
how do you get your background to show? I guess you have to do a darker background.
Yeah, it's. I think it's based on skin tone maybe, and I don't know. Like.
You said based on skin tone.
No, I mean like your never mind. Your face, so like usually your face is whenever I'm on camera, the green screen process is very intricate. That's why they spent $1 billion on my franchise. So,
got it.
Yeah. So I am not using the studio's green screen right now. That's why I don't look as crisp.
Or as buff.
Yeah.
Well, there's that.
That's funny. There's like the superhero at home, like the real superhero.
He does have abs though, so make sure you guys check that out. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys hang out for a little bit. I'll show them.
Yeah. Well, I guess and when we get to 7:30, we could do abs.
Guys, I have to jump out, but I did want to share 2 links with everyone.
Yeah, please.
I can send it right to everyone here. So the first one, you guys might know it, but it's a map. It just keeps track of, as best we can, all the cases with Corona. And the second one is the SBA. I spent some time on this one looking at, what businesses can apply to, not apply to. It's been a good resource for me, so that if it can help anybody, take
You
that.
put these in the chat window?
I sent it from me to everyone, so everyone should have 2 links there.
Okay.
Stay safe, everyone. Keep healthy, and we'll see each other soon.
See you, Alex. Yep.
Take care.
Hey, Alex.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for coming out. Kathleen?
Yeah, I just saw a news flash that the U.S. has just reached the highest number of confirmed cases. But that's not what I'm seeing here. Oh, wow.
What?
So New York State has
Yeah.
more confirmed cases than France, South Korea, and countries over Europe.
Yep, as you can see in that, if you went to his link, you can see it in the left-hand side of the screen. We are now the most confirmed cases over China.
Winning.
You think it's just better reporting? Or?
I do believe it's better reporting, yes.
Chris.
Who do we, what? Michelle, looking good up there.
Wow, we're
Kathleen.
starting the costume party way early tonight. This is gonna get crazy. Like another hour of this. Woo!
All right, so we got
Rick and Mortar's gonna be happy they're not open.
Yeah, right.
They are open, actually.
I know, but I'm figuratively speaking.
All right, so somebody share some wins with the group. Any like for me, I'll share one. Part of our win is that we had to call March and April events and reschedule them all. So everybody, nice job, Tracy. Everybody rescheduled except for one client who was being difficult, but we found a very elegant way to get them to reschedule. So that was good. So as somebody who is just completely, I mean, we're shut down. We're not even open at all. Who's completely shut down right now? Like I'm 100% shut down. Talisano, you 100%? Tracy, but you don't have a retail store, do you? Okay. So you just, Greg, you're still open? Yeah. Delaney, you're not. Jason, you and Mandy are you able to sell, you're able to sell only delivery, right?
Yeah, I actually got to start working my day job at home.
DJ?
Which is nice. No, my day job.
What is your day job?
I'm an estimator at a cable company. We build cables. So,
okay, that's cool.
Not nearly as exciting as the
home.
cafe, but at least he's not going to get me sick now.
I've been trying to work at home for a couple of years, and it took this.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, that's true. My friends who are graphic designers that have offices, I don't understand it. I'm obviously, I move a lot quicker than a lot of business owners, and they're just me, so I don't really have to ask anybody. But having an office when all you do is graphic design, which is typing onto a computer completely, I don't understand it looking at the numbers, but everybody has said, as Alex did, that the camaraderie, I think it's just people like other people around.
It depends on if they suck or not. Jason's day job is not cool people.
I don't like those people.
My degree, I have a bachelor's in interior design, and a lot of that is on the computer, but there are some things that you meet with clients with to get a straight answer, because it's really hard to tie them down as far as this design versus that design and where you're trying to go and why, because just constantly doing revisions through email could wind up taking a million years longer. But that's the kind of thing you can do at a co-working space.
Don't you share screen now?
Well, I haven't worked in that field in 7 years, so maybe they do now.
Yeah, like for me, having a phone that I can write on, if I would have had this when I was building Nova, where you could take a photo of something and send it to the architect or the electrician or plumber and go, move this here, move this here. I mean, that was, I'd love to see some report. Is there reports, has anybody done a report on the level of productivity that, when we had hand-powered, battery-operated drills, for example, or sawzalls? I mean, has there ever been a report that's been done versus, look at Jenkins, that's a big old J, dude. I'm sorry. That looks like a,
Didn't you say you're recording this, you fucking no smoothness having motherfucker?
What? We are recording this. You're smoking right on the screen.
It's a cigarette.
All right, well, it's nicely rolled. Has there been
Captain America says don't do drugs.
What has Vic Rose from the ground?
What's that?
It's like a little pipsqueak coming from Julia this week, but not enough to actually hear.
Yeah. Usually you're, what's up with you, Julia?
There you go.
Yeah.
You have a doctor's office, right? So you physically have to come in. Are you guys doing any of the telemed?
So far, we've done one person, and we're improving on that, I guess. Just sharing the information and trying to convince the doctor to get on camera.
Okay.
Because he knows a lot, and all the research I do to share with him, and he's like a sponge. So it's like right after you read something, let's record you. That's what I'm trying to convince him of.
Why do you have to convince him?
Well, he's a little bit Canadian, so
Got it.
he's difficult.
Okay, so let's move on to our next question, which can be relatively quick. Is when do you guys think this stay-at-home is going to end?
When we start learning to wash our hands and take better care of our cleanliness, you know?
No, like a date. Because I have to reopen. I have to start telling our May clients, yes, we're going to be open. No, we're not going to be open. So at some point, you know, since I throw away.
Some idiots are telling people to go back by Easter, so we're all going to die.
That church will be full.
What do you guys think? Just give me a date. Just go around the group and give me a date when you think it's going to be open. We'll just go Hollywood Squares. Michelle, what do you think?
I'm thinking it's going to be fall.
Give me a date.
I think it's going to be August 15th. August 15th.
All right. Mandy, what do you think?
Yeah, probably around there. It just depends on how many people pay attention. So maybe September 1st.
All right, so September 1. All right, Jason?
Depends on your definition of normal, but say end of July.
Okay, so end July. All right.
To go outside.
Mimi?
I say at least by mid-July because people want their kids to go back to school in August.
Got it. Tony, when do you think we'll be back to, you know, we'll just say the quarantine's over. Let's just call this a quarantine. What do you think, Tony?
And he's muted.
No, the radio guy. All right, you're unmuted.
Mute now. Can you hear me now for the fourth time?
Yes.
Not telling you weren't listening. Late July.
Late July.
Maybe August,
okay.
maybe.
Steve Rogers?
Christmas 2027.
Wow.
No, seriously, I think, so May 8th was my open date that the health department said that we had to be open if I wasn't Steve Rogers and I was Chris Talisano.
Okay.
But May 8th is when they said we could reopen.
Okay,
So
May 8th. All right, got it. Greg, what do you think?
So when I was driving home from work just an hour ago, the streets were about 70% of what they were during a normal work week. I've never seen the last 2 weeks the streets that busy. I think people are getting restless and they want to go back to work. I think less. I think 2 weeks stops.
All right, so mid April.
It's not. You know, I think what Trump was saying in the news earlier was they're going to divide the country into low risk and high risk areas. And I think that's and stagger the open. And I think Florida by the county. And I think certainly we're going to be one of the first ones open.
That's terrible.
Really? Because it's going up a lot more here than it has been so far.
What's that?
It's going up a lot quicker lately here than it was at first. I think it's because we're sort of isolated. I think when it starts going up here, it's going to go up really fast and we're going to be high risk really soon.
Well, is there still no is there testing available? Like, since we're talking about that, can you go
They
get
ran out in Hillsborough.
Yeah, they stopped.
It goes up 300 cases twice a day. So it's still rising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to rise more.
I disagree with that because the tests are, first of all, there was a 7 to 10 day lag time on many of the tests. So we're getting results today that were happening 7 days ago, 10 days ago.
Really?
Which means it's even worse now.
Hey, can I say something?
We've been quarantined.
Hold on, before we get to it, let's just go finish the group. Delaney, what do you think is when are we going to be back on quarantine?
So I think unquarantine, I think it could be 30 to 45 days, but I do think we're going to end up back. I think it's going to be phased. And I think we're going to end up in a place where we're still catching up with the information. I just don't think we have enough accuracy right now.
Okay, so that's a long way of saying what date?
I'd probably say like early May, mid-May. May 15th, if you want a date or something like that. But
yeah, I'm just looking for your guesses. You know, you guys are all educated entrepreneurs. So Julia, what do you think? What date?
Yes, thank you. Well, it's 2020. It's the year of the hindsight. Are you washing yourself? Are you washing your hands? Are you eating properly? Are you exercising? Are you happy? Are you mentally happy? Are you physically happy? Is your health good? Are you eating fried food? What's going on? You know what I mean? This is the year of the hindsight, and that's what nature is doing. It's weeding out, the weak, basically. It's, if you're not healthy, your immune system's not strong, and if your immune system's not strong, then you're SOL. So stay healthy, keep your immune system strong, vitamin C, vitamin D, there's some different herbs you can take. It's about educating yourself, being smart with what you eat, with what you do, how you think, being a brain injury survivor, I have a lot of demons in my head. And
that is all very, very true. And then to answer the question, what do you think the stay-at-home ends? What date?
When we learn to start taking better care of ourselves, physically and mentally, and for others around us.
So
like never
then.
For me.
Right, Julie,
welcome to the new norm.
Right. Okay, Nick, what date do you have? I'm just looking.
I'm tending to go with there seems to be a lot of pressure to do it soon. So I have a funny feeling what is going to happen is we're going to probably in 3 to 4 weeks, and then we're going to get hit in the fall with another relapse, and they're going to try to do this again. So I am not success. I think they're going to open it sooner, and I think it's going to be before the end of next month, around the 25th, about a month from now. And I think it's going to be too early. And but the problem is we were talking about a quarantine. We didn't really have one. I mean, I was out on the streets and they're about 70%. That means it wasn't a quarantine. And that means we really
this mandated shutdown. I mean,
right. It's I don't know. There's going to have to be a new word for this because none of the old words actually apply.
Yeah.
But I mean, they talked about limited quarantine. I was talking about statistical models last week, and I know I don't want everybody to fall asleep here. We're late in the meeting.
They're calling it social distancing.
Yeah.
We are in a mandated social distancing limbo.
Right. It's not really effective at like a quarantine is at isolation. It just slows it down, but eventually it moves through. And then as soon as you pull it off, then it speeds up again. So we're going to get an unnatural lull. Again, the data is really not out on that. If we can find out for sure, and I have heard a lot of good things from medical experts that this is following the immunity cycle where you get it once and then you're done. And if that sticks and holds, that's going to have a hugely positive effect on the situation. If it doesn't,
the mutations.
If it doesn't, we got to, yeah, well, we already heard of one. I've already heard rumors of one. I haven't been able to research it today. And if that's true, then that's even more bad news. So this one I think is going to end sooner than it should in about a month.
Okay. Thank you. Kathleen?
Can you hear me?
We can now. My throat's constricted.
Well, I think your question is when will it, not when should, right?
Right. Yeah, right. All I care about is when is it? When will the forced social distancing?
Yeah, I mean the way politics are, like the voice, the messaging we're getting. I'd be surprised if it lasts another 2 weeks, which is really scary because it took Italy a month before their daily new case numbers started dropping.
No, you had.
So you think about a month, mid-April.
No, I think it'll be in a couple weeks. I mean, the president was
saying,
at the end of the 2-week initial one, you're going to reassess and probably not continue, right? Like that's the kind of tone that I'm hearing.
Okay. All right. Jenkins, thank you.
Makes sense. Jews go outside.
I don't take positions that I don't have some data to support.
Like
right now, I don't have any good data to support.
I'm telling you, this is a group of.
Go ahead, Chris.
I don't take positions on things that I don't have data to support, and I don't have any good data to take a position on this. I have no idea right now. Too many wild cards. That's it. So I'm not even going to try and estimate a date because I think I'm pretty confident I would be wrong no matter what.
What would be if you had to get for $1 million? You had to pick a date. What would it be?
Again, I don't play guessing games like that. I'm a data driven guy, and it's this question just like it's both perplexing and disinteresting to me because I don't have any data. This is like one of those things like, you know, when people take polls about evolution, like I don't really care. It's not an opinion based thing. I'm waiting for some data to come up to support it. So
yeah.
Pick a number.
Thanks for nothing. Tracy?
I'm going to say 420.
Yeah, very good. Okay. And Kim, what do you think?
Like everybody said, I mean, it's hard to say, but I'm hoping around May or June. We'll see.
So end of May?
Maybe.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, of course, it doesn't really matter. You're right. I mean, the data is data, but you know, the world's not run on data. Where it's run by people making gut decisions, and you know, there's luck, there's data, and there's just reality. So, so my next question then is, who's pivoting their business due to COVID? And if you are, tell us a little bit about that.
Oh yeah.
Palisano, what do you got?
I'm closed till May 8th, so I have to pivot in order to get my client or my trainers, excuse me, my customers covered, and my trainers starting to make money again.
Okay, what are you doing? What are you specifically?
My long-term business plan was to be virtual anyways, so I'm just speeding up that process.
How are you gonna, so you're training, but not the float. So the float was an add-on. Was that a
Float isn't what I do. That's 2% of my business. 98% of my business is fitness, rehab, pain relief. I'm an athletic trainer. That's all I've ever done. The float was just to get new people in the door. So
would you, if you backed up, would you do the float again? I mean, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, if we have local, we can interact socially. Yeah, definitely. But in the meantime, I've got a float tank sitting here, just, you know, taking up space. But
if you didn't have a float, you wouldn't need a location. Your costs would drop
significantly. But if we're open in a month, then I can start seeing my clients again and start seeing floats, and we're good. So
what if we're closed for? I mean, the break even is if you're closed. If I'm closed for several months, you know, we go out of business. So, but I've got
about 4 months that I can sit on. So, or that, you know, if we go past that, then we'll have to look at the situation again. But
yeah,
it's been awesome. Like I've been just nonstop doing what I wanted to do 3 years from now, and doing it this week.
Okay.
So, been just talking to a lot of really smart people about how to make the transition for all my customers as smooth as possible. And so far the feedback's been great. All my clients are ready to go and do the virtual one-on-ones. And it's opening a lot of new doors. I finally got all my staff together for a virtual meeting, and we were just brainstorming, throwing ideas off each other, and everybody's super excited to be a part of bringing our product globally, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to exponentially grow my business. So I'm fine with it. In 4 months, I hope to not even be worried about my local location, because at that point it won't matter, because we've already got so much momentum at that point.
So is your plan to go virtual, and this is just forcing you to accelerate?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody else on that?
Do you do any kind of house calls, or just all virtual?
We can't do house calls. And I mean, unless my physical therapist can actually see people, because I have physical therapy as well. She has made she basically will only see emergency patients at this point, which I kind of agree with her. just doing treatments right now and potentially interacting and spreading the virus, it's not worth it. So
Yeah. Okay. True. Okay.
But after that, would you be doing house calls and digital would be your new model after it all goes away? Or just digital?
Oh, no, I'll still keep local. Because I like, working with people in person like a lot of us do. But I'd like to grow. I mean, I have a lot more potential on the virtual realm. And what I've also realized is I've got a lot of platforms in place, or I have the platform in place and the systems in place to take on a lot more healthcare practitioners, clinicians, health coaches, doctors, to use our Best Day umbrella to get their services out there. So I'm already generating some collaborations and with other healthcare professionals locally that I know that I already refer to give them a resource in which to make some revenue while they can't see people in person. So I'm unlocking all kinds of doors and making all kinds of collaborations with people. So I think it's gonna like exponentially grow my business. I think in another month or two, it'll be all good. Right now it's stressful because I got a shit ton of work to do. So this is like my one downtime to kind of hang out and just drink a couple beers and talk with y'all. But other than that, other than sleep, all I've been doing for the last 4 days is strategizing and planning and figuring shit out and how to streamline the whole process. And so
are you doing more, when you say virtual, is it virtual therapy, or is it therapy on demand at a location that's not yours, or both?
No, it's one-on-one personal training remotely. So I'm in my house, they're in their house. I ask them I tell them what to do. I watch over how they're doing it, make sure their form is right, make sure we're addressing all their issues. I have to be a better communicator, which has always been something that I've been good at with my clients anyways, and most of my staff are great communicators. So now we just have to do it virtually instead of in person. I mean, I can turn the computer around and show them the exercise or the movement and then give it back to them and say, okay, now do this, and let me watch you and correct your form and all that.
So you're like a real life mirror.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, exactly.
But is virtual the right word then? Because it's more like live remote therapy.
It's real time, remote. I'm still kind of playing around with how to get the terminology to reach the widest audience, but virtual just sounds trendy and hip and cool.
Yeah, what is a good, let's help them with that.
Nice.
Because I think it's a chance for us to make a new word, a new term. Because virtual it's all virtual. So there's no, this is two people doing something connected by a computer. So it's
virtual interactive.
Interactive is something I've been throwing around too. I think and what I'm noticing is we can now provide not just one-on-ones, but also like workshops where we can have people that normally couldn't afford our services could jump in on a 20-person workshop and pay $1 or $2 for the session and have one of our trainers give them a program they can do in real time and interact with them. If they choose to open up their video feed, they can say, hey, trainer, hey, well, am I doing this right? And the trainer can look in and be like, oh yeah, no, move your knee, move the hips, adjust your posture, lift your chin. So it's interactive. It's kind of like a group class setting. It can bring groups of friends together to work out together. It's really opening up a lot of potential.
So what do you guys like as a term to call it? Remote interactive? What's the best way to describe it?
I think we could find a word for it, but really people have to habituate around the word. So I think people understand what virtual means by now.
Yeah.
So especially for his business, because Chris and I sat on Tuesday, and talked about this. And I've been working with people all week who are trying to pivot and make sense of the online space. His business is conducive to the scale and it won't be disrupted because he basically is in an information and learning based business. And so he's able to package his process, his philosophy into content, which can be delivered. It doesn't have to be in one-to-one anymore, which is usually a big flaw of a trainer or a coaching business. And he can actually start leveraging groups and subscription-based pricing. And now people can afford it, and it's a soft sell, so he doesn't have to really focus on, just high ticket, one-to-one training, and he can deliver it. And the work up front is a lot. And plus he's got to be willing to record and do all this stuff. But unpacking his process, like it's an easy deliverable, and people are going to be looking for what he's doing. They want to be a part of it.
It seems like maybe drones, they have selfie drones now, right? So it seems that, holding the camera and the laptop is all going to fade away, and you would have like, hey, you have your own selfie drone there watching you do your thing. And then what would people wear glasses? I mean, so because, when you're exercising, unless you have a big screen in front of you, what are you going to use, a TV, I guess?
People use their laptops, their phones, whatever.
You just need somebody to be.
Yeah, tripods.
Well, we can get fancy with the technology, but if we basically break it down to what I do, which is when somebody comes to see me one-on-one, when I start working with them, I first show them the exercise so they can see it, 1 or 2 repetitions, and then I get them doing it, and then I constantly critique and change and adapt and watch what they're doing and adjust things. And so what we're doing now is simply what I'm doing now in person. What I'm going to be doing is what I'm already doing now in person. And it's just, there's a little more space between us. Now I can't get as fancy with some of the more challenging exercises that need more spotting, but that's fine. I mean, that just means I need to get a little more creative in how I can still challenge them and give them the opportunity to be able to spot themselves or have something close they can hold on to. So it decreases their risk of falling or whatever. But yeah, I mean, we can integrate all kinds of fancy cameras and drones and stuff eventually, but right now we got to try to provide the product that we already have, and how can we most closely do that online. And the more I've been playing around with it, the easier it is. Like, it's not that hard to transition. We just have to get the current customer base onboarded as quickly and as effectively as possible, as little troubleshooting as necessary.
Yeah, it's more important for you to see them than them to see you.
Mm-hmm.
So.
So my business is, weddings, parties, and events. How at risk am I to people going virtual?
Like
weddings,
have a connection like all this, and
yeah, like the taxi industry, has been around forever, and then Uber came in and beat them up pretty bad.
That's one of the things I was trying to like raise my hand, and now I'm just like taking notes over here, reaching out to my dev crew, going, can we create a raise your hand plugin for Zoom, because that's clearly needed. Something that'll like allow you to queue up questions in a conversation like this.
Are there other plugins for Zoom? Sorry to interrupt, but like widgets and things. I was wondering, like, how.
I really don't know, and there's no plugins for Hangouts. I know that, but like there might be plugins for the Slack video chat. I don't know. I mean, I think that's a good opportunity. It's just a good example of like what's the new normal in a highly virtualized world, and how do we coordinate things like meeting etiquette and things along that line. But because we already have these other questions of what's the new normal to deal with, I think instead of trying to come up with catchy new ways of describing well-established and existing services, the more important value to add is helping people who don't normally have access to these services get them, right? Because like one of Chris's biggest issues is going to be, okay, how do I deliver this? On what platform? How do I book people? How do I collect money? How do I schedule sessions? How do I deliver video content? This is a place where like platforms become super, super critical. And all of the big changes in the internet that have happened along the way have all happened around like new platforms being provided. HTTP was itself a platform, and then we started having social networks, and they became a platform that sort of replaced in a lot of ways some of the greater HTTP stuff, and it just keeps going from there. Chris and I have spent a lot of time over the last week or so, trying to talk about ways that we can do more actionable, effective stuff to help keep our business community going. Like, this is a really good example of a place where it's the rubber meets the road. If we can put together some resources on, here's a quick and easy way to get your video consulting platform up or whatever, you know, like that's a perfect opportunity, you know, and if somebody can capitalize on that, dope. But if it's as simple as like, you know, Alex or who's the other folks, Donnie and Jackie, right? If you're building a platform that makes it super easy to jump online and have something together, then that's something that we can either like contribute to or help promote or something along that line. And like really effectively as entrepreneurs, maybe take a stake in, you know, if it's something that we think has a high chance of success. And I am not one to be offended by finding a profit in a market that is upside down. So, you know, I don't have any like moral compulsions against that. I'm very much a capitalist, but at the same time, putting that stuff out now when there's critical need at as low or as minimal cost as possible in order to establish an audience base looks great for the future, right? And so, you know, maybe you're able to roll out a product with 5,000 free beta testers who are like your local business community who have free for life, and that's just the platform that they built on, and that allows you to get some traction with a new product in the marketplace so that when things do stabilize, you can start charging for that, you know? So I think that there's a good blend of possible crossover, like, you know, proper capitalist profit margin combined with really making sure that you're engaging and caring for your local community. And I don't think we should try and reinvent the wheel. I think we need to focus on those places where businesses really have gaps in services and platforms and access, you know?
So playing off of that, it seems really obvious that Chris should be documenting and recording the process of making your company virtual as a case study that then you can turn around and sell that to people on how to do this thing.
Yeah, actually, that's fascinating you say that, because I was thinking, well, you know, now that I'm generating content, I'm vlogging and talking to myself on the phone all the time and trying to get comfortable speaking to an audience that is, you know, 2 people or 1 million people. I was thinking, well, why don't I just document what I'm doing, who I'm talking to, my resources, who am I reaching out to, how am I transitioning, what's the pitfalls, what do I have to deal with to make this happen? I thought that'd be a great, you know, thing to do. But on top of all the other bullshit I'm dealing with, I don't have time to do that because I'm trying to do all that. So I definitely, if I could have a little drone following me around recording this whole process, that'd be great. But I've got to be doing the process. So
that's kind of the point about what should be a group effort and why partnerships are the right approach right now, right? You know, that's why I said take a stake. You know, if you are really great at one thing, like the content side of things, I can't be fucked to create content on any sort of a regular basis. I just can't. I do create content all the time, but not on a schedule, not on anything that resembles like commercial structure. You know, fuck that. But I can build the platforms that help other people disseminate content. And I'm very business savvy. I can look down across a model and kind of determine whether or not, you know, there's an appropriate audience for something or things along that line. And then there's going to be other people who are going to be the design and branding people and the editing people and all these there's all these pieces, you know. If you can find and build little dynamic teams and partner up from like a project-based perspective, it doesn't have to be all crazy complicated, like, you know, full-on equity partners in your business. Maybe it does if you're ready for that, if you're mature for that. But maybe it's just project-based where you're like, here's what we're trying to accomplish. Everything that's contained within this project is spelled out in the project charter, and we all get X% of it as we work together in our own businesses as like partnered businesses, you know. All those times that I've hammered on collaborative entrepreneurship and talked about how everybody can put their businesses together for fucking Christmas and shit like that. Jesus Christ, there has never been a time when that approach is more important. So find those people, build mini projects together, make equity agreements, and keep your business rolling in whatever fucking way it takes.
It's like a prepackaged franchise.
I mean, to Chris's point, right? Entrepreneurship that I've experienced in the last 5 years has been a lot of people operating solo. And it becomes really tricky because most people start a business and their main point is I want to make money. But if you add a business in, I mean, shit's way more complicated. So you start having people who either hire freelancers, get fleeced for thousands of dollars because they don't have a skill for online transition and stuff like that. They have no idea where they're at, or they dump money into branding before they even know who they serve and what they sell. So, I mean, if you're in business right now and you need to pivot, one, you have to take an assessment of your business. Does it exist in 6 months to a year from now? Do you have the cash flow, the ability to pivot? The next phase is identify what you're really good at. Is it sales? Is it infrastructure? Is it development, whatever that is, and start finding people who are really good in the other aspects and figure out ways to collaborate. And that was a big one, like the Minchios or the Minhios, however you say their name. We've been talking to them quite a bit this week and hopped on a call with them to go over sales funnels and copy and systems and showed them a great, quick system they could use for $100 a month. It's not going to cost them tens of thousands to deliver to restaurants. Chris and I sat down, we talked about how to unpack his process for people online. And so it's about really realizing as an entrepreneur, like what problem can you solve together? And again, don't reinvent the wheel at all, because people are still habituated to what they know, and really focus on delivering it. But to Chris's point, like the thing about pricing for a lot of people too is like getting really open to, do you know other pricing models that exist? Amazon became $1 trillion company because they went to a subscription-based model. So if you're somebody who offers high ticket prices for something or a service, why wouldn't you be able to offer some kind of subscription-based model in there that when people are either paying for or not, you're still getting paid in your business, and spread it out over time? So there's just these little things that matter that you don't think about, because we just don't know what we don't know. And most times we don't speak up because we don't want to look weak. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so that's very good. So I'll turn it back to me then, because I don't often ask for help. But what would you guys do, you know, if you're in my shoes with a, you know, multi-million-dollar building that has to sit there and be serviced, you know, as we transition more virtual, more people staying home, less people getting married? I mean, what, you know.
Can you plan parties, you plan events, and everybody's planning all their bullshit online now. So we plan this, right? This is a get it together of how many people? Like 15, 20 people here. Can you again, word of the week, pivot to offering like putting together online parties where you get the DJ that you know as doing the soundtrack. You get the MC chiming in and coordinating everything. You get all the people getting together and they all have to wear the same costume or whatever. Just start coordinating some kind of group virtual party experience.
Virtual event planner.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of fun. I mean, it's better than nothing.
Yeah, I mean, like, because I was thinking about combining our workouts with like the DJ that you put that link up for Chris Craze, and I was like, that'd be cool if we get him to do a class. We have a live DJ and we have whoever wants to join working out, and then we make those connections with all the people to make that happen. And you already have those connections. How do you take that to put it on here? And that's a big thing.
What about live concerts? Because some of them are doing them from their bathroom or their whatever, but you could have a full band in your space, physically there, but streaming live for the listeners.
You can use your space.
That's a good point. That's what Tony with Magic Leap was doing, is being able, or they had talked about, where you could go and, you know, film or capture, you know, band or a performance, and then people at home watch it on their.
Yeah, virtual entertainment. It's funny, we were just talking about this. Magic Leap sent out an email last week, and I'm on their beta list, so I got the notification for the group. They're doing these $5,000 experience packages where you get like 4 of the Magic Leap 1 devices and a central computing deck and all the rest of that in order to start building out virtual spaces. I think that, like, I mean, Roni's had some missteps and some stumbles, but I think he might have just accidentally landed in the right place at the right time in the market, because the equipment that they sell is really dope and it creates a really like cool immersive virtual experience. The ability to actually, like, your venue is beautiful. You've spent years and countless hours of perfectionist, like insane OCD level, like in scrutiny of your business to build a beautiful venue with a beautiful experience. Why not offer that virtually in some way? I mean, I know it's a way out, pie in the sky kind of a thing, but, you know, I mean, have you looked at what it might take to like create a virtual environment that people could actually attend using Oculus Rift or something like that?
Well, we've done some 3D, and we have a 360, you know, waiting to happen when the doors open back up. But
not to say that's a bad idea, but how do you get everybody to buy the eyeglasses, the $300 hardware to integrate that into? Or do you provide that?
I think you're going really far out there, brother. And I think that the ideation phase, you need to have that before you go into like buying behavior. But exploring ideas before you come to like the conclusion of that. I mean, I think just having something on the table for the pivot for him right now is probably a better fit.
Yeah, I mean, just look at it, because I mean, that kind of thing would take a year, 2 years to really put together and do well anyways. We're not looking at it as a short-term solution. But if you're trying to like reevaluate your 3 to 5 year plan and you are uncertain as to how things are going to play out and whether something like this might become an issue again, maybe it's time now to like do a little wild way out there visionary shit and be like, what is something that I could possibly do that's crazy, next level, moonshot shit? And like maybe start exploring that and see if it's something worth, you know.
Well, is there any, and I appreciate it, is there any futures that we've seen at all where people aren't physical? I mean, you watch almost every movie, show, whatever, and there's still people walking around, there's still bars, you know, there's still nightclubs. So whether it's private events where it's invite only, you know, and then it goes completely speakeasy, you know.
Ready Player One.
Right. You know,
people are dying to get married, right? Can I talk for a second?
Yeah.
People are dying to get married. A whole bunch of people plan their weddings, their graduations, their things, and they're figuring out a way. There's some that are doing it on video games. They're meeting all their friends, and the bride, I forget the name of the video game, but the bride arrived and there was surprise roses, and literally she got a tattoo of the video game on her arm. It was the most special thing that could happen within reason at this time. I think there are a lot of options, and it doesn't have to take fancy equipment. You can mail everyone something in the mail and everyone opens it at the same time on the screen and have a bridal shower. And it's better than nothing. We had a dance party last night. All right. So I have a really tight knit group of friends, and we have our DJ friend, and he did a set on Facebook Live and we're commenting. That was more fun than I'd actually had in a long time. Even being with them, reminiscing, and the comments, it was great. That's all.
No, that's good. Except for how does it work back to the physical space? Because then everybody's just home doing their thing.
Your space is irrelevant right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem, Michael, is
the office
the space
question.
is the problem.
Did you answer that question? Do you need a physical space?
As an office, no.
Not as an office, but like I have a store and I have an office at home.
So one of the things that, because I started reading your book this week, it came in the mail. So I picked up a copy for Danielle and I, right? One of the things that strikes me about certain businesses that I want to get involved in are you have a core belief and a core philosophy that goes beyond the walls of your business. Mm-hmm. And my belief is that this decade, it's going to be about those businesses because listen, we all know a million real estate agents. We all know a million event spaces. We all know all that shit. You can no longer leverage your reputation on, I'm an attorney. It doesn't matter anymore, right? There's technology disrupting that and everything else. But for you, a few things came up when you shared, about sending stuff in the mail. What if you curated a box that went to people that people are on subscription that helped them have an experience? Wine that you saw, certain, candles, whatever it is, like let that just percolate for a minute. And then, books that you've read, things that you could share. I mean, there's things that you can do as an individual, but think about the Nova experience and the philosophy of your business that you wrote about so much in the first 50 pages I've read. And how can you begin to scale that outwards? And that's what Chris and I were talking about, Talisano, is that now is the time to learn how to scale the philosophy because the physical location does not scale. And you might even reach people in China or people in, Australia, whatever. And it's just the philosophy around the Nova lifestyle. And yeah, I mean, calling it what it is, the space doesn't matter. It's kind of taken out of the game right now.
That's really interesting, thinking about it that way, because, having been to 91 countries and done all kinds of crazy stuff, I mean, I could curate, wine, food, music.
From around the world. You know how excited people get when they get a physical box? Boxes blew up in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And people, like getting a box from Amazon now, even if I ordered it, I'm like, hell yes, this is amazing, right? It's like Christmas.
And I know the event convert to virtual events super fucking simply.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have you look at like a model, this has been done before, you look at like Playboy Mansion. It's a physicalization of something that actually isn't really attended by the people who subscribe to the magazine. They don't actually get to go there. It's a very kind of thing, but it becomes, but you know what I'm saying though, but if we look at the millions of people that are familiar with the Playboy brand, they don't go there. they talk about it, they dream about it, the things like that, and that becomes the physicalization becomes virtualized, if you will. And then you share it from that point of view. So this is the band experience has become like a fraction of that whole physicalization. But the physical part of it is now we're in a situation, how do I leverage a physical entity when physical entities are the problem?
Yeah.
So you need to find a way to virtualize it. So I think you're on the right track with making these shared experiences set at Nova, but not experienced at Nova.
Or, well, also one of the things I've got 2,100 square feet. I don't want it to, I've spent a lot of time and money in making it my own. And I know you've spent a lot more than I have making Nova your own. And how can you utilize that space right now to make it something that you can utilize so you can reopen when we are finally, allowed to go back to our norm? You have a really open space. You could, I'm just, freeballing here, but I'm thinking turning my studio into a hydroponics produce stand. I got space, I can grow plants here. How can you keep your space and utilize it until you can use it for, the other thing?
So I think we're all kind of really greatly overestimating how much structural change there's going to be. I think in a year from now, if we were to look back at this, there's going to be some minor changes. Telemedicine's going to be there, more virtual meetings, face-to-face. But in terms of arts and entertainment and a lot of this change that we see now, I think we have an inherent bias that, hey, we're in this quarantine world right now. We're going to do this, we're going to do this. But as soon as we open up again, people are going to be clamoring to get back to the way it was. And there is that 300 years of American inertia to carry us forward. Especially in arts and entertainment, I don't see any real structural change in this. And I think a lot of these kind of virtual parties and stuff are just, they're not going to happen once the quarantine goes away. I think people want to be with each other.
I agree. It's interesting when you look at things that, we talk about new tech, but if you look around your house, the technology of a cup is here forever, forks, so some things are just so wired into, human behavior and experience. What things that may change though is like when you go to you walk through an airport and you have a machine that scans you if you have a bomb. Maybe they'll have those where they'll scan, like a metal detector. This would be like a virus detector. There might be some changes that happen on the technology side that allow us to screen better. But I think you're absolutely right, Greg. It goes all the way back to the campfire. People want to be together, we want to, when you run into somebody. I ran into Max. I've been riding my bike every night, as I always do. I see Max, and the first thing you want to do is hug somebody, or shake their hands, or what's up, and it's putting the brake on that is so hard. Even if you shouldn't, it's like you're 4 steps into it and you realize, oh shit, we're not supposed to touch right now. But it's so ingrained. And even aside from the physical sexual part of it, of going out, why are bars open? Well, people are lonely, they want to hook up or whatever. So I
agree. I think there's an inherent bias in the situation we're at now to kind of extrapolate, we're going to see all these structural changes and the world's never going to be the same. But I think in 6 months, we're going to look back, we're going to see some minor changes and a very slow, gradual evolution toward incorporating some of these virtual sort of meetings and a more kind of remote world. But, things happen so slow. They do.
I agree with that completely.
Seismic change. Things happen so slow.
Well, it's taken years for this virus to adapt to where it is now. And this is a fire drill. If this was a 20% mortality rate, we'd be on a whole different level. This is a 3% mortality rate. So these viruses are constantly evolving and adapting. So yeah, we're going to get over this in a year, but when's the next one come? So how do you, if your brand is your business, is your life, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, when this comes back again, another one, COVID-20, how are we going to be prepared again for at that time? We're going to be like, oh shit, we didn't see this coming, like this current one.
Well, maybe
maybe
the other way to think about it though is you're right. It is coming again, but as Julia talked about earlier, is maybe there'll be a change in people getting healthier. Maybe people stop smoking cigarettes. Maybe
they won't. That's
maybe
a nice thought, but they won't. That's not the reality of it at all. Just like Greg said, we're all going to be back socializing in 6 months. No, people are still going to fucking smoke. They're still going to do unhealthy shit. They're still going to eat food that tastes delicious and involves killing animals. That's all still fucking happen. But the whole thing is like the real impact of right now is that millions of people who would never used video conferencing in any regular way before now are using video conferencing in regular ways. That creates sociocultural shifts, right? And so as all these new things come up, everybody's going to be like, oh, yeah, I do that thing. Oh, yeah. And then there's going to be a Friday night and people are like, I don't want to fucking go out. It's rainy and shitty. Hey, you want to jump on and fucking play D&D together over Zoom, And they have cocktails and shit. And they start incorporating this mode of communication into culture. And yeah, it's not 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. Maybe it's 18 when we start to see some new disruption in the marketplace. Maybe it's 24 or 36. Maybe it's when the next virus comes around.
So
it is going to be changed, but yeah, agreed. We do tend to look at things in a much bigger way when we're inside the box, which I think is what Greg's talking about.
And going back to what Tolosano said, I think it's very prudent to come up with backup plans, but to have a whole seismic pivot of your business for this post-quarantine world in which, with everything being virtual, I think that's very dangerous because I don't think once we go back to normal, we are going as a society revert back to the mean and carry on much in the same way we were before. So I think it's very prudent to have a backup, and that's what we're going to see a lot of is this backup infrastructure being built out. But it's dangerous to all of a sudden pivot a business to entirely this too, as if we were always going to be in a perpetual quarantine. And also back what you were saying too, yes, this could happen again, but you said yourself, Chris, this is very much a fire drill. I think the governments are going to have these 10-year-long postmortems about what they could have done better, and I think it's going to be handled significantly better and significantly more aggressive should something like this happen again. Perhaps that's too optimistic on the governments, but I do think that it will be handled much better as well in terms of the economic fallout and the contagion risk.
I think one of the big pictures though with the business, especially with what Mike is talking about, Chris is talking about, that I hear it happen a lot right now, is that traditional business owners, small businesses that are not entrepreneurial based, that have taken on significant risk and are in brick and mortar places, are finding themselves at a huge disadvantage because 5 years ago, a lot of people were just selling products to people and missed the boat with understanding how to build communities and fans. And so they didn't set up email systems. They didn't understand social media, which is a real thing that didn't exist when the last event took place, because social media is the gas on the fire right now that we're not talking about, because people literally went to a platform and just deluged it with all this information. So if we were to look back 10 years ago and say we thought social media would be as big as it is right now, is a big deal. So you see a lot of people whose businesses started to suffer. So I don't think it's a matter of pivoting fully, because you should, as a leader, have your criteria for your pivot and how you lead in your business and what criteria and what threshold is met. But I think the big thing to understand though is if I'm Mike and I'm looking at this and I'm saying that my business and the risk that I have commensurate with what I actually make in this business, and I say, do I need to have an additional source of income into my business? We look at that in our household and we say, how can we get additional sources of income? But a business is the same way. And so how do you begin to diversify the cash flows coming into your business? And so I think it's a pause for people to start taking a look at, well, shit, if I had already had an email list of 10,000 people that I've been selling to for the last 5 years, it might be a little bit different, right? Everybody got inundated by fucking Macy's and everybody else saying, hey, by the way, we got it on lockdown. So now other businesses are saying to themselves, how can I scale beyond a physical location, get better reach and expand my market? And I think that's the pivot that I think people should be thinking about and beginning to strategize in it and begin to realize the executionary strategy in that. So I think that's really important right now.
I think one thing we're overlooking as well right now is, if you have a good thing going right now, I think it's very wise to look at insurance. I mean, if you have a good thing, look at business loss insurance. This is the easiest thing to pick up, right? Well, not right now, but you know, in the future, to protect against, you know, a 3-month thing. Now, I'm not familiar with business loss insurance, but I think it'd be prudent to look at that to provide some insulation.
Pretty much all policies disallow the viral pandemic. They did that after Ebola.
Like action type stuff, right?
I don't think the question is will we go back to, and I'm using community specifically here, the need to interact physically with people, to get together and gather physically. I don't think that's the real trigger of the pivot, because the problem is these particular individual businesses, and I'm pointing to the 2 corners here because they are sitting there, were targeted for shutdown. They were specifically told, you will shut down. There are a lot of businesses doing fine, and there are a lot of businesses that are excelling because they're you know, alternatives. But this pivot is focused on Mike and Mandy and Jason. And what do I do right now to rejuvenate revenue? What we do later when it comes back is what we do later. That's another pivot. But this is specific, not trend analysis. I mean, trend is, yes, we will eventually have weddings, public weddings again. But when? They were specifically picked out at the beginning. You're going to stop that. There was right in Kreisman's first speech. I was like, really? You just said, you know, you're going to go on private property and break up weddings. That's interesting. With armed sheriff's department. Oh, okay.
There were
that's
a lot
specific.
of cops out. A lot of cops out tonight at 5:30 downtown.
Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah, because Pinellas got shut down.
us-
Pinellas is shut down now, so I
Yeah.
don't know if everybody here is in Pinellas.
Well,
but
it's
yeah.
still not actually. It's just it's not required. It's still just a preference, a recommendation.
we got 10 minutes left, so I want to do.
Okay.
Thank you all. I appreciate it. Good stuff.
Hey,
I want to ask
Michael.
Does anybody need emergency help? Like, do we have anybody in the group? We haven't done a 4-hour what the fuck do we call it?
4-hour commitment. I literally just was talking with a different leadership group about that.
Yeah.
We haven't done that in a while, and we haven't really done wants and needs in either of these. And I think that's something that, you know, I'm happy to donate any time that is required, that, you know, like to help you get tech problems solved and shit. So
Yeah, do we know anybody? Because it is Brick and Mortar's Jason's birthday, so I'm gonna get on my bike when I'm done and probably ride my bike down there and buy something from him. I don't really give a shit about the quarantine, but I won't make out with anybody.
You lie.
I do.
Oh my God.
But so my question is,
nobody here believed that, Michael. Not one person.
well, I am born on April 1st. Which is gonna be weird. Maybe I need to throw some kind of a virtual birthday party. I don't know. Next
You do. So I had one thing for us is we do a bunch of takeout and delivery. Can you do delivery cocktails? Is that legal right now?
I have a package license. I've always had it where we can sell bottles, so you could walk up to Nova, ride your bike up, or send an Uber, and I could.
But I think it's actually legal right now to just sell a
can.
mixed cocktail to somebody in a plastic cup.
Yes.
I think if you sell food, though, right?
Yeah, I think you have to have food.
I don't know because they changed.
Okay,
They got
never
the
mind.
letter again.
Yeah.
It comes from
the
the
veggie chip.
Yeah, with the liquor
With the
license,
food purchase.
it comes from the state run, but then it's based on the type of license by your county. So it's a little
Well,
more.
okay, then maybe
Well,
like
I know Cody's is
basket
doing it.
delivery of wine based
Yeah.
on certain places you've traveled or something like that as a fill-in for right now.
Right. Yeah, no, it's good. And if you guys need to buy liquor, I have, you know, you can certainly buy it from me, or you can buy my book if you haven't yet, which is nice. Thank you, Delaney, for the two. So the quick question is back to other people. Who do we know that needs emergency help right now in the group? I mean, who, you know, we could buy something, we could get a gift card or whatever, but who, I know Mimi already helped out Brick and Mortar, but I don't think she's doing that as a, to be nice to them. I think she's just an addict.
I did. You know what? No, I did. I did that because I have food at home, and I left a huge tip.
Giggity.
I need some help against the United States government. My new competitor, because a few of my staff members don't want to come in because if they work, they won't get their $1,200 handout. So there's that. So if you guys can help me take on the U.S. government as my competitor.
If they have a tax liability, they won't get a paycheck.
I don't think that's true. I think everybody gets the check, just not the unemployment.
So is the unemployment different from the check?
Yeah.
It's like one or the other.
I don't know.
No, I think if you get unemployment, you get the check too.
Yeah, they are completely separate things. Everyone's getting the check. The unemployment is a matter of if you filed unemployment, if you've been fired or laid off. Those are completely separate things.
Yeah, and getting that actually done is also a completely separate thing.
Yeah, there's been a ton of problems with the unemployment website.
Has anyone tried to apply for the loan for small businesses? I can't get them. They keep emailing me the verification code and I don't get the email.
Are you talking about the SBA?
Yeah.
I just pulled that up because I just saw something online.
I can't get it to work. I've tried for 2 days.
So this is what I was just told, because I was just reading, somebody just posted this online. Print it off and do the application and fax it in is much faster. Because literally somebody just posted that. They said don't do the one online because their system's been crashing for the past few days. So they said print it off and fax it.
You can print
Where are you applying that? Hold on. Where are you applying at?
It's SBA, U.S.
No. Fuck that. Here you go. I'm pasting this shit in the chat right now.
Is this one because I know somebody mentioned something about the Florida one was no good.
That one doesn't.
That's 2 different loans, Chris.
That's the 12-month 0% 50K, same as cash.
And then you're supposed to get it reimbursed and pay it off with the SBA.
Within a year,
to fill out the SBA one.
That's what I said. 12 months, 0%, same as cash.
So this one is 50K. Not. This one is not. They're doing loan, because I was just reading on it.
The SBA one, very few people are going to qualify because one of the clauses in the SBA one is that you have to have no other lines of credit available. And so that's part of the reason why it's such a hung up process. If you're looking for operational capital in the short term, almost everyone can qualify under the Florida disaster loan, which is the 12 months, same as cash. The downside is if you go longer than 12 months, it jumps to 12%.
12%. Yeah, I saw that.
Well, better than taking a cash advance on your credit card, which is what I
Fair enough.
20%.
Yeah. Lower than my 22% Amex.
Yeah. So the Florida disaster does need a lot of different documents. I mean,
yeah, of course it does. Yes.
It took me a day to get everything together.
It took me a long time, and I was only a quarter through it. I was like, "Fuck that."
Yeah, it's a lot of documentation, so be prepared.
We were talking about PayPal too. So if you do business through PayPal and invoice through them, they can factor into your business up to $300,000 depending upon your invoicing and your account history with PayPal. So and they'll drop it into your account within 24 to 48 hours.
And I've done a few factored loans with PayPal, and they were great. It was usually within 24 hours. And because it's factoring, it means that they just take a little percentage out of each of the transactions that you do afterwards until it's paid off. And they have a very friendly payment schedule. So, if you just need 10, 15, 20K real quick, PayPal factoring is a great way to grab some fast cash.
What if I don't
Same with Square?
Much? No.
It is about volumes, but PayPal isn't the only one who does it. Square does it. Somebody just said that. Most of the merchant processors do. Okay. They don't necessarily advertise it, but I know that North American Bank and a few of the other ones, anybody who collects your credit card receipts, if you've been in business with them for over a year, generally they'll look at the previous year's receipts and create a credit limit for you based on that, assuming that your current year receipts have been in line up till, whatever.
Awesome. Stop.
Also, I have a funding partner I use as well in our business. I have a funding partner I use as well. I don't know what their rates have always been really substantially low. Their minimum is $5K, and they go all the way up to I think $10 million. And they check just credit and then obviously revenue into the business. So there's qualifications in there. But they've been pretty helpful to work with, especially with some of the stuff that we offer. So they work with businesses and individuals too. There was Sprout Lending. My friend's name is Zach Siegel. Sprout Lending. If you guys need it, just post up a post in the ESC group and I can get you guys connected to him. He's worked with a couple of clients of mine and it's been a really smooth and really awesome process.
Okay, we got 2 minutes left. Any finals?
Does anyone want to hear a song about dating during a global pandemic? I kind of wrote it. It's kind of funny.
Sure.
Yes. I need to get my banjo.
Okay. What time, Mimi? What time is brick and mortar?
Coronavirus. Move.
They're doing from 4
coronavirus.
to 8:30.
Till 8:30?
Yeah.
Better hurry.
Oh, but it's his birthday though. Is he there?
Yeah, he's there.
Is Seaworthy still open, or is that, did they close
No.
that?
And so they haven't said anything about that one, but since it was so new, and they probably only trying to do the one that's actually bringing in the most revenue,
Yeah.
which is the brick and mortar.
Well, and they have the brand awareness, and yeah, that's a sad. All right, Michelle, here's your first ever live performance.
This is called 6 Feet Away. I'd rather stay 6 feet away than put you 6 feet under. I'd rather blow kisses your way than risk it under the covers. But if we stay 6 feet away, how will we become lovers? I'd rather stay 6 feet away than put you 6 feet under. 6 feet under. 6 feet under. I'd rather stay 6 feet away than put you 6 feet under. It's time to get randy, it's time to be smart. How can we be together while we're so far apart? It's time to get handy, it's time to think right. If we can't touch each other, there's always Skype or Zoom. I'd rather stay 6 feet away than put you 6 feet under. I would rather fantasize than contaminate each other. But if we stay 6 feet away, how can we become lovers? I'd rather stay 6 feet away than put you 6 feet under. Oops, I forgot an important part. All right. You know, single ladies out there, this is not a time to be getting some strange, no siree. It's time for some of that, self-love. They call it self-care, you know what I mean? The electricity's not out. There's not a shortage of batteries. So keep spreading the love, but nothing else. I'd rather stay 6 feet away than put you 6 feet under. I'd rather blow kisses your way than risk it under the covers. But if we stay 6 feet away, how will we become lovers? I'd rather stay 6 feet away and put you, pretty darling. The guy I saw at Publix across the parking lot. The guy that looked the other way, but I know you were protecting yourself. Remember me? 6 feet under. Call me.
Well done. Wow, very good, very good. Very
Here's your
good.
pivot, Mike.
You
All
know
right.
what, Chris?
I'm not kidding. Call me. No. All right, bye.
All right, I've been told by the lords of etiquette on virtual hangouts to keep a very tight timeline. So we're 2 minutes over. We'll do 1 more minute because Greg's down there. Greg, say hey real quick, and then we're gonna hang out. And
hello, everybody.
I gotta take your.
Good to see you.
Or you can just come on in and chew and.
Big league chew, huh?
You can either come in late and chew and.
I've had my payday.
Nice. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Big group. Thank you.
Michael, stop recording, but leave the meeting up.
If you haven't, what's that?
Stop recording, but leave the meeting up.
All right. So recording will end right now. Oh, and I'll say, please buy my book at 5amgohome.com. Thank you.
Yeah, and then don't close this out. Just mute your shit and turn off your camera and